about active reentry and how it got its start here.
Okay. I think it's a great kept secret when we don't want it to be a great kept secret. It started about 31 years ago there was a woman named Connie Taylor whose husband was in a motorcycle accident and there was nothing for him. There were no grab bars, and you know, sometimes I think, boy, we have a long ways to go, but then you think about what happened 30 years ago and we really have, right. Yeah. Back then you had to special order grab bars. Now you can go down to Sutherland's and pick them up. I mean, it really has changed. Large print playing cards, you used to have to special order those. Now you can go, you know, and get them at a grocery store. So things have really come around. And at the time, so they were, you know, they tasked me. I worked for the Association of Governments, and my job there was actually to start programs, to find the funding, get the people, and just kind of launch them. And so this was one of those that was part of that. It was just something I never even planned to honestly stay with. I planned to get it started and let it go. But luckily we have an incredible board of directors that believes that if it's good for the community, get it started. And so out of our 18 or so programs, 5 of them are federally mandated or statewide, but the rest of them are because they meet a community need. And so that's what's been fun. You can still start programs and get things going, and that's always been something I've enjoyed doing. So at the time, I spent 2 days in Salt Lake just going from place to place to place saying, okay, what's out there, what do we need, what can we do down here? And I went to the Utah State Office of Rehabilitation, and they were at that time writing a grant for 2 independent living centers. There was one based in Salt Lake, but for the rural centers, one based in Logan and one in St. George. And I said, you know, what about, you know, down here? They said, oh no, there's not enough money and it's not going to work. And I basically said, bet me.
Try me. Just watch me.
Perfect.
And that's actually how it started. So we put together a 501c3 and a board of directors and launched it from there. And they took that 2-center grant and divided it 3 ways. And since then, because of a great community and consumer advocacy, I mean, a lot of the mission of Active Reentry is to assist individuals with disabilities, all types of disabilities and all age groups, to live more independently within their own home and community. So that's a pretty broad statement, and from there we try and fine-tune it to meet the community needs.
And that's where the programs come in. I mean, there is a broad goal, but there's so many different ways to reach that goal. It really is an umbrella over the many things that you guys offer.
Exactly. I mean, what we do up in Price or in Vernal is very different than what we do on the Navajo Reservation. I mean, it just makes sense. And so that's the purpose. And so it is a very broad umbrella, but then very specific programs. I think our 2 most recent that we're somewhat excited about trying to get the word out is one is called Music and Memory. I don't know if you've seen the Alive Inside video. It's where a woman is actually sitting there. I was sitting at a training and saw this video and went, we need that here, we need that. And so we're one of 2 organizations in Utah that do it for people in home service. There are some nursing facilities that do it. And what they found is that this woman is sitting there and she honestly doesn't know the difference between a fork and a spoon, which way to push the button on an elevator. And they put together a iPod of music, of her music, and she comes alive inside. She is then cognitively aware, and that they found out scientifically that will stay with someone for almost 3 hours.
Really?
Right. It's a very powerful thing.
Yeah.
So it was like, let's get that started.
That is exciting. I was familiar with the program, but I'm not familiar with the video. I'm going to have to look it
It
up
is
now.
really, we have it at the office if you want to borrow it, because
And
it's just wonderful.
How long have you guys been implementing that program?
I think we're in our 2nd year, so it's very new, very new.
And you have another new one?
Veteran Service Officer on staff. We're the only one in the nation of an independent living center that has that. Right. Joey Allred, as she has said, she's the daughter of a veteran, she's the wife of a veteran, and a mother of a veteran. And so it was very dear to her heart to try and get more veteran services. And what was happening is they're coming out of Salt Lake. Well, that's very different than having someone local.
Yeah.
So we've opened up our offices as the place where the veterans can come make appointments and be the coordinating point, and she'll travel throughout eastern Utah. and comes into each office a couple of days each month and can sit down, meet with the veteran, and some of the benefits. People hear veteran services and they think about the VA and the hospital. This is not that. We don't get into the medical care. That's something very different. But these are about financial benefits and eligibility that many people that are service connected are unaware of. And so some time to sit down, and even if you did something maybe a decade ago, things change.
Yeah.
And what might not have happened a decade ago, it's now something that you might. And it's worth an hour of your time to sit down with her and just find out. So
That's
those are
great.
2 new ones that we've done.